Yo, what's up, folks? This Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you all back to the Hurt Business 101. Let's get right into this video, man. Today's video, I want to get into this fight that took place in the super middleweight division. That's the 168-pound division between David, the Mexican monster Benavidez, and Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Let's get right into it. Listen up, y'all. That was one hell of an event. I want to give both fighters a round of applause. And I appreciate those guys for being willing to step in there with each other, particularly Demetrius Andrade, being willing to go in there, being as though this is only his second fight at 168 pounds versus one of the most avoided fighters in the sport. And him himself also being an avoided fighter for many reasons. Thank you guys for going out there and putting on the show and leaving it on the line for the fans. Let's break down this fight. Listen, man, the fight pretty much went how I thought it would go. I was surprised in how quickly it went. I thought it would go, if it was going to end like that, I thought it would be like around round 9, somewhere up in that range, but it ended quicker than that. But let me break down the fight and everything that I saw in that fight. First of all, when you if we're going to start from round 1, both of those guys came out and tried to figure out what the other guy was going to bring to the table in that particular event. Most of it is already understood, but they still went out there and felt each other, felt each other out. I thought in the first round, I thought Boo Boo was doing a good idea of changing up the looks. He was moving right, going left, using his jab, and he was like that. He was changing the levels. He would do some interesting things, like he would be standing up high with his posture up high, but going downstairs. And then sometimes he would be postured down low, like he might shoot downstairs with punches, but he was going upstairs. And then sometimes he would be postured high and go high, and sometimes he'd be postured low and actually go low. So he was trying to keep Demetrius Andrade off balance, where he wouldn't be able to figure out exactly what he was doing at all times. And he was also trying to gain Benavidez respect by doing some moving, then stopping, firing off fast combinations, mixing those punches up, body, head, and then getting off on his bike a little bit, moving around circle, not running, but circling and keeping his movement going. And then he also did something that I know probably caught Benavidez off guard, and that was he actually went to Benavidez and actually had Benavidez on a rope some during those first few rounds. He did a good job at mixing up the look, but you could tell that he was feeling the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, although there was some time where he actually had Benavidez on the ropes, and he was throwing punches off on the ropes. Then there were times when they were in the middle of the ring, he would shoot his combination, David would throw a punch, he would slip it, turning, and then when he would actually turn him, he would turn him, and instead of working over the shoulder on the turns going upstairs, he would turn him and do work downstairs in the body, which was smart. Because, fighters are generally expecting when you turn them for you to go upstairs on them. But he would turn Benavidez and go downstairs on him. So he actually did a lot of good. He showed a lot of wrinkles in his game, you know what I mean? Things that we always knew was there. But he started that fight off, and like I said, he did a good job at mixing up his attack, trying to keep Benavidez off balance. And what you could see from Benavidez was, Benavidez was trying to find a range on Boo Boo by firing his jab, you know what I'm saying? Trying to fire that jab and keep that jab in his face. And then you would see him trying to scrape Boo Boo with these right hooks up top. And Boo Boo was doing a good job of sliding those right hooks. You know what I mean? For the first, for the first, I want to say the first few rounds, he was doing a really good job at sliding those hooks that Benavidez was trying to land upstairs on him, the right hooks actually, trying to throw those bombs upstairs, and Boo Boo wasn't really having none of it. So, you know what I mean? He was making that target upstairs for Benavidez very difficult to find. But when you fast forward to round 4, Benavidez still was using his jab to actually find his range on Boo Boo. But if you notice what happened during round 4, he noticed that he was not able to land those hard right hooks that he was trying to throw on Boo Boo upstairs. So what he did was he started attacking the body. So he started throwing left hooks and right hooks to the body. You know what I'm saying? To kind of limit Boo Boo's movement. Now Boo Boo wasn't doing a lot of running, but like I stated in my prediction, Boo Boo has a tendency now at the higher weight classes to actually stand and wing shots some. But in this fight, he was being smart like I thought he should and use his movement more than he had been doing in the recent fights. But Benavidez started targeting him with left hooks and right hooks down at the body. And that actually started to slow Boo Boo down to make Boo Boo start standing a little bit more stationary, or not really stationary, but standing in front of him for longer periods than he really should have. And the body shots really started to get to Boo Boo. You can notice those body shots started to get to him, and it had him thinking body shots. So basically, those punches that Benavidez were trying to land, those hard right hooks upstairs in the first 3 rounds that weren't landing, by him going downstairs, particularly with that hard right hook to the body. And a lot of times fighters are really wary of throwing right hooks, you know what I mean? But being as though he was going against a southpaw, he was able to actually throw the right hooks more so than he would have been able to throw against a conventional fighter. So Boo Boo basically was looking for the right hook to the body, and instead of throwing that right hook to the body, Benavidez feinted low and shot that right hook up top and actually landed that punch on Boo Boo. It was a thudding shot. You know what I mean? Like, he landed that shot with conviction. You can hear that shot. You can tell that shot shook him, and it dropped Boo Boo Andrade. And from that point forward, that fight took an ugly turn for the worse. I mean, once he caught him with that right hook and dropped him, when you catch somebody with the shot that you feel as though it's about to turn the fight around. You can just feel it. The way it lands, you feel it in your back, you feel it in your shoulder, you feel that it just reverberates. And when fighters that are used to hurting guys, they know the reaction that they used to getting when they hit a guy with that shot, and he really got the reaction he was looking for. He put his arms up because he understood right then that he finally landed that punch that he thought would turn the tide. And after that knockdown, it was all she wrote. It was just a systematic beatdown with massive pressure. He started to walk Boo Boo down. And what happens is people can talk about Benavidez's feet, and also Boo Boo talked about it. He gave him like a 1 or a 0 for his footwork, or something low for his footwork. Here's the issue. Benavidez is 6'2", and he has long strides. He's not doing fancy footwork, but he makes up a lot of ground with those steps. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna use a movie reference. You know who Benavidez? Who else don't have the fastest feet around? Jason Voorhees. And no matter how fast you run, no matter which way you turn, in those woods, Jason is always going to be right in front of you. At some point, you're going to turn your head, and he's right there all over again. Benavidez is like the Jason Voorhees of boxing. He's not running. He doesn't have fancy footwork. But if he gets you in trouble, or if he starts building momentum, he's going to always be on top of you. And he started landing shots, hard shots. And the problem is, usually when you get hit with a hard shot like that, you got an opportunity to fire off, and Boo Boo tried it. He tried to fire off fast combinations and let his hands go just to get Benavidez to slow down the momentum so he could have a chance to take a step back, posture, move, throw his jab, and regain his bearings. But Benavidez wasn't having none of it. I mean, it was one of those situations where Benavidez just said, listen, I'm keeping the pressure on. So he wasn't able to ever recover. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to try to get his bearings back. And at that point, that pressure, that avalanche is barreling down on him. Hard shots to the body, hard shots to the head. And the one thing that Benavidez did that was great was, although he hurt Boo Boo with the head shot, he didn't exclusively go head hunting. He was still going down to the body because he knew that Boo Boo was going to try to move and get on his bike. So he wanted to take all the air out of those cells that he possibly could and level him to the body early and often, and also leveling him up top with hard shots. And that mental pressure, that physical pressure, that is real. I mean, it zaps guys. Andre Rozier was asked a question when he did a Fight Hype interview. You can go to Fight Hype and look up Andre Rozier, Boo Boo's trainer, interview of Fight Hype and watch the whole video. But the interviewer asked a great question. He asked him, he said, did you have a great camp? Was it an issue with Boo Boo's stamina? What was it the reason why he faded so fast? We know he starts to fade late sometime, but he said, why did he fade so fast? Was it? And Rozier kept it 100% real. He said, we had a great camp. His stamina was excellent. It was just that physical and that mental pressure that Benavidez was putting on him. It was a lot. And that's what I try to get people to understand. That pressure that he puts on him, he's not allowing you an opportunity to recover if you're hurt. So this is what people are going to have to put up with. And it's the reason why I bring up the Canelo situation. I've always thought Benavidez was a nightmare. Now, what Canelo has done was allowed this guy to get more experience. And now he's starting to gain his man strength. So now if you see him dropping a guy with a single shot, whereas though he usually is taking him an accumulation of punches to knock a guy down, where he's landing at still single shots, and you can see the extra thud on the punches, the man strength is real. And that pressure he's putting that pressure on. And he is a monster to keep off of you. I give Boo Boo all the credit in the world coming up there to fight that guy. But I thought that he had a shot. But like I said, his inactivity, also with the pressure and size and strength of Benavidez, I knew that was going to be a tall task. But, you know, I could have saw a world where he could have boxed his way and maneuvered his way, and maybe Benavidez gets frustrated. But you can tell that fight with Caleb Plant really helped him with cutting off the ring and staying patient when he's not able to catch a guy with what he wants to catch him with early, because Plant put him through some things that he ultimately figured it out and stayed with it. And with a fighter like Benavidez now, that he's comfortable staying patient when he's not able to get what he wants. That lesson was invaluable, and now we're looking at a guy that's on a totally different level, because sometimes you got to go through those early trials and come through those things, and on the back end, we can see a fighter really take a leap, and Benavidez took that leap. I'm telling you now, it wasn't just Boo Boo's age, it wasn't stamina, it wasn't that he quit, and people got to stop just trying to say a guy quit. He tried, and he did everything he could, and that's what I was looking for from Charlo against Canelo. Go out there, go out on your shield and fight. Do what you got to do to try to pull it off. Do not try to survive. I take my hat off to Boo Boo. He still let his hands go. He didn't do excessive holding, and that's just what happens when you face a guy with that type of physical and mental pressure, along with he has smart feet and knows how to cut that ring off. Anyone that's going to fight David Benavidez, this is what it is. Canelo Alvarez, David Morrell, watch the tape, because you're going to have to try to find a way to deal with all of that pressure, that power, and that unrelenting will and prey drive that Benavidez is bringing to the table. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to have a problem. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Hurt Business 101. You know what they say. There's no business like show business. But I say it's no business like the hurt business. 1-0-1, done.